Hey guys, good morning, welcome to church. It is great to be with you this morning. We've seen loads of you this week at younger youth and older youth, but we've also started our new booking system. So if you want to join us, make sure you or your folks, someone with an email address, gets into our new booking system. You can find the details on Facebook or on WhatsApp or something like that, where it's nice and simple and straightforward and easy for you to register and book your place with us at any kind of youth events. So have a look. The website is called Pray In. You can see the link online, and I can send it out to people if you need it, but it's really helpful, and it's a better way than just randomly texting whoever's in the group and saying, yeah, I'm going to be coming, because we've got it written down. We're not going to forget you. We'll make sure we've got your place. So start using that. It's really helpful, really good. There's a few little issues, but the people that have put it together have done a really great job, so we're trusting them. It's going to be cool. If you have a problem, then you've always got the backup of giving us a call or a text message or something like that. I want to talk about something we're planning to do in half term. Now, usually half term we don't do any youth stuff. We have a break whilst you guys are at home, let you have some space away from us. But this half term, on the 28th, on the Wednesday, we are going to have a session, an event for young people in year 9 and above. So if you're in year 7 and 8, this is not for you this time, but if you're year 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, this is for you. We're doing something called the Girls and Guys Night, where me and Steve and Jess and Becky are going to be here in separate groups, and we're going to be inviting the girls to join the girls and the guys to join the guys, and we're going to be talking about stuff specific to our group. So this week, or not this week, this time on the 28th, 2 weeks time, we want to talk about social media. How do we use it as Christians? How do we use it as young people? How do we use it to the best that we can do? How do we use it safely? How do we help to benefit other people and keep ourselves on the right track when we use social media? It's going to be an interesting discussion. But if you've got any thoughts or comments about stuff you'd want to discuss in a girls group or in a guys group, bring them down. Like, we just want to open up. We want to have that space separated, because sometimes it's easier to talk about important stuff to us when we're separated in those smaller groups where we can be a little bit more open and honest about stuff going on in our lives. So the 4 of us are really looking forward to kicking that off in 2 weeks time. So book your place. You can book it now. It's open. You need to go through Facebook or WhatsApp, follow the link to Pray In, book your space in the Girls and Guys session. I think we've got about 15 spaces, so it's about seven at each. But if you run out of spaces, get in touch with me and we can see what we can do. But it's going to be really fun. So in a couple of weeks, come down and join us for that. Now, this week with our younger youth, we talked about anger. So that's what I want to look at today. So all of us, when we were together on Wednesday, we all talked about how we've all experienced being angry before. It happens to everybody. If I was to speak to everybody in the street, everybody in the supermarket, or out and about, everybody will have felt angry before. It's a normal human emotion that we all go through. But actually, it can be a little bit challenging sometimes. Now, a lot of us had experienced times when anger had either got us in a bad situation, it had got us into trouble, it had made us feel really bad about ourselves. But actually, we all go through anger. So we want to talk about it, focus on it, and bring some of that stuff into the light. It's important to remember that we all have emotions. We all have a level of mental health. Now, and that can change. I can go up and down, and we're not wrong, we're not sick, we're not weird if we have a bad day. We're not difficult people if we feel like our mental health today or this week or this time is really struggling. We're just normal. We all have a physical health. So whether we're feeling great or whether we've got aches and pains, whether we've got a cold, or whether we're just feeling tired, that's our physical health, isn't it? Or whether we've got an injury or something like that. But we also have a mental health. Am I able to focus? Am I getting worried about this? Am I getting stressed about this? Am I feeling angry? Is my anger going in the right way? So anger is a really interesting emotion because it's often full of energy. And put your hand up wherever you're sitting by yourself if you've ever got angry and you felt like you need to do something. Because, I don't know, anger, especially in my life, in me, it fills me with energy and I want to act. Sometimes not great stuff either. So anger not only is something that goes on in our minds, like in our mental place, it's a thought, it's a feeling, an emotion, but also it has an effect on our physical body. So those two things. But those things result sometimes in a change in our behaviour. So if I'm feeling angry, sometimes my physical body can change. I can want to do stuff, I can forget things, I can kind of have or any of us can go through this stuff. We can have a time when we kind of blank out and we don't remember what's going on. But also we can sometimes feel it in our body. We get hot, we get tense, start sweating, or we get really cold. We go through it different ways because we're all unique. We're all made in the image of God, but we all go through things differently. So where do you feel anger? Whenever you get angry, or when you have got angry in your life, where have you felt it physically in your body? Have you felt it here in your chest? Have you felt it in your fists? Have you felt it in your mind? Has it just been thoughts? Think about a time when you felt angry, and whereabouts in your body, what changed, what happened, or what changed in your behaviour. We all get angry. It's normal and it's healthy. If you go away remembering a couple of things from today, I want you to remember that it's normal to get angry. And it's sometimes healthy to get angry because our body reacts to threats. That's all anger is. It's our body reacting to something that's threatening us. We can have good anger and we can have not so good anger. So I could be angry because I'm being attacked by wasps. I think that's probably all right thing to be angry about. Oh, I'm stressing out. I'm angry. I'm being threatened by wasps. But actually, if I get angry because someone walked past in a way that I didn't like, or someone was being silly or making a noise in their own place and had nothing to do with me, then maybe that's not such a good thing to get angry about because they're not doing it specifically to me. So think about times you've got angry. Was that genuine? Was that good? Do you think that's all right to be angry about? Or if you're honest, do you think maybe I should have dealt with that slightly differently? Have a think about that. No worries, it happens to us all. But there are right ways and wrong ways we can demonstrate our anger, aren't there? And some of those things can be quite obvious. A right way to demonstrate our anger could be to change something, to do something, to cause a positive something to happen out of it. But a negative way to deal with our anger is maybe to hurt someone. Maybe it's to hurt ourselves. So I asked everybody on Wednesday when we were together, what are some of the negative or positive consequences, results, things that happen when we get angry? So I'm just going to read out some of their thoughts. So something positive, this is what one of you guys wrote on Wednesday evening. One of the positive things of getting angry is that the person who you're angry at can learn and it can help them think. So that's a positive thing to get angry at. We can change our behaviour. Somebody who we're angry at might be able to change, or we might be able to change. That's a positive thing. But a negative thing about getting angry is it can hurt people's feelings, or it can come out badly, like shouting or being violent. Here we go. Another negativity. You could get a punishment. Yeah, especially at school or at home, you could get a punishment if you were being angry out of place. But a positive is you might then get the help that you need by expressing yourself. People notice and people want to help you. There's really good stuff. What else did we get? A positive, it gets your anger out, it uses it up. Anger fills up space in our body, in our mind and in our physical body. So using it up, expressing it, gets it out. It helps us to understand how to deal with it. That's a really good one, whoever wrote this one. But a negative, it starts fights. A lot of us have seen that at school if we've started secondary school recently. It maybe makes other people sad. It maybe makes things worse because other people get involved. So as you can see, there are positive and negative things. Let me just read out one more. Where has it gone? Here, a negative thing, people use angry, this person's written, to get revenge, or they use anger to hurt people emotionally and physically. And actually, when we get angry, sometimes we do stuff that we regret. But a positive thing is we can sometimes afterwards make up with people, or we can fight for what is right. Now, that's a really important thing to remember because anger in our world, we see both sides of it. If you watch the news for even a couple of minutes, you'll see people like politicians or presidents always shouting at each other, always using their anger to bring people down. But you'll see other people, maybe like protesters or activists for certain causes, say like climate change, use their anger about what's going on for positivity, and they make people believe in their cause and they cause people to change. Now, there are good things and bad things to anger, like we've just said. There are good and bad reasons we get angry as well. So I want us to briefly look just some stories from the Bible about how Jesus got angry. Now, you may have read these before. You may not. You may have thought Jesus never got angry. He was perfect. Well, Jesus never sinned. So that's one important thing to remember. Jesus never sinned. He never did anything that upset God. He never needed to ask for forgiveness for things that he had done because he was the image of God. Well, he was God on the earth, not just the image. He was the human form of God that was among people, which is super cool. But Jesus, the Bible says, still got angry. So we can know from that that being angry in itself isn't necessarily a sin, but it's how we demonstrate it. So let me read a couple stories from the Bible, and I'm going to ask you a couple questions that you can think about. If I can find where I've put the questions, I've just buried them underneath all your thoughts. Here we go. I've got it. So let's read. If you've got your Bible, open it up. If not, just listen. Let's read Mark chapter 3. So Mark in the New Testament, one of the Gospels. And we're going to read verse 1 to 5. Now, this says, Jesus went into the synagogue again, which is the synagogue is the Jewish temple, the Jewish place of worship. And he noticed a man with a deformed hand. Since it was the Sabbath, so it was the day of rest during the week, where people were told you should do no work, you should do no things, you should just give it to God. So it was the Sabbath. Jesus' enemies watched him closely because they thought he was doing bad stuff. If he healed the man's hand, they planned to accuse him of working on the Sabbath. Jesus said to the man with a deformed hand, "Come and stand in front of everyone." Then he turned to his critics and asked, "Does the law permit good deeds on the Sabbath, or is it a day for doing evil? Is this a day to save life or to destroy it?" But they wouldn't answer him. He looked around at them angrily, and he was deeply saddened by their hard hearts. He then said to the man, "Hold out your hand." So the man held out his hand, and it was restored. At once the Pharisees went away and met with the supporters of Herod to plot on how to kill Jesus. So in this story, we have Jesus and his disciples working, people say, on the day where you're not meant to. But we know, after reading this story, that Jesus is God. So actually, he is coming in with the ultimate authority in that situation. But the people who believe in the law and believe in the rules and the religious stuff are like, you can't do this. It's the Sabbath. We're meant to be not doing any work. But Jesus said, guys, what is it work to help somebody? Is it against the law to heal this man? Is it against the rules to do this clearly good thing? And it really made him angry. He said he looked around at them angrily and he was saddened. So not only was he angry, but he was also sad by the way that these people thought. So Jesus has taken something and he's reacted to it, but actually he's brought good out of it in his angry reaction to what these people are doing, because they're clearly in the wrong. He then heals the man. So he does the right thing, although he's feeling angry. So he processes his anger and knows, you know what, guys, I'm really upset with you. I'm saddened by you and angry by you, but I'm still going to do the good thing. I think that's a really important story to read. So go away, read it, ask some questions about, think about, do you think Jesus was right to be angry? What does that tell us about feeling angry? And what should we be getting angry about? So Jesus is angry in that situation. What should we be getting angry about in our situations? And I want to read one more story before we wrap up today, to get you to think about how we should be angry and why we should be angry and how we should demonstrate it. Now, this is in the Gospel of John. Now, a lot of people might be familiar with the story. It happens in chapter 2. So turn to John chapter 2. The title is Jesus Clears the Temple. So the temple or the synagogue, it's the really important place where all the Jewish people are coming together to worship God, to offer things to God. They're kind of how we have church when we come together. This is what was going on there. So this is John chapter 2 verse 13. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. So Jesus went to Jerusalem. In the temple, he saw merchants selling cattle, sheep, and doves for sacrifices. He also saw dealers at tables exchanging foreign money. Jesus, this is cool. Jesus made a whip out of some ropes and he chased them all out of the temple. He drove out the sheep and the cattle, scattered the money changers' coins all over the floor and turned over their tables. Then, going over to the people who sold doves, he told them, "Get these things out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a marketplace." Now, the story goes on a little bit. I'm going to cut it there. Because these guys were selling stuff in the temple. They were trying to fleece people out of money. They were trying to make a profit on people's worship. People would go in there and they were like, "Oh, you need to go in with this stuff. Remember to buy it from me." They were using the temple space to sell stuff and to boost themselves. And Jesus said, "This is my Father's house. This is a place where you come to worship God." That was the cause that he was angry about. People were neglecting God, pretending like he wasn't there, and using that space for their own gain. Now, Jesus doesn't have an issue with people selling stuff. Jesus does not hate shopkeepers. Sometimes when we read the Bible, we'll take a story and think, well, that means that God hates this kind of person. No. Jesus doesn't hate sheep. He doesn't hate cows. He doesn't hate shopkeepers or people that exchange money. It's all about the heart. It's all about the reasons, the motive. Why are you doing it? Where are you doing it? And how are you doing it? So Jesus was upset and he was furious that these guys were taking advantage of people, taking advantage of God and the temple space for their own gain. So what did he do? You could say this was quite violent. He made a whip and he started whipping people out. I don't think he was actually hitting people, but he was moving them forward and tipping over the tables. He used his anger physically. And sometimes we need to use our anger physically. Sometimes we have the urge to do it and we lash out at people. But anger is an emotion that affects our bodies as well. And it fills us with chemicals from our brain that make us want to act. But I think, well, what do you think? Do you think Jesus did the right thing? Do you think Jesus acted in the right way? I want you to come to a decision because I've made my mind up about this story, but I want you to think about it. So what does this story tell us about anger? What should we get angry about? So next week when we're together, I want us to talk about that. What should we be getting angry about in this world? What should be causing us to get furious? But how should we be doing it in a way that's right with God? I think God would have been pleased with Jesus when he reacted in this way. I think the disciples would have been a bit shocked, but I think Jesus did the right thing. So what is it in our life we can get angry about? Have a think about it. Stick it in the comments if you need to. Bring it when we're together next week. And we're going to talk about what we should get angry about, how we should be angry, and when we feel like anger is overwhelming us, how should we react in a safe way that doesn't hurt ourselves and doesn't hurt others, but actually causes change to happen in the world. Because Jesus' example here showed that his emotion, his mental well-being, his health, his anger caused good things to happen. So that's the lesson we can learn from this story. Come next week and let's talk in more depth about what it means to be angry in a positive way, to have righteous or good anger in our lives. Thank you guys for watching today. Connect with us during the week. Remember to book your place and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great rest of your weekend. See ya.